The situation regarding a coach for the Super Eagles continues to get messier and cloudier by the day. Negotiations at this point seem to have broken down, with coach Stephen Keshi reportedly ready to move on. In an interview with BBC Sports, the star coach is quoted as saying, "I have moved on. I can only wish the country well for the future." He goes on to add, "I've had about 7 countries approach me in the last 2 months, but I kept them all away. There's a game in 2 weeks, but no one is thinking about it, and at the same time, they expect you to win." Coach Stephen Keshi then expressed his opinions about the cause of the entire delay, saying, "Sadly, I also think attention is focused more on the upcoming NFF elections, and the national team is simply not a priority. I love my country and I am aware of the dreams our fans had of me taking this team to the next level. While acknowledging the efforts of some people involved in the negotiation, I think others probably have other important things to do." Others don't think he has much reason to be complaining apparently. Former NFF Technical Committee Chairman and former Chief Coach of the Gambian national team, Coach Kashima Olaloko, seemingly unimpressed by Keshi's various demands, has asked the NFF not to give in to Stephen Keshi, stating that he himself will be available to coach the Eagles and for free. He says angrily, according to a report from the Daily Independent, Keshi and his agent want to rip off Nigeria. Where in Africa does a coach earn 15 million naira? If he cannot take 5 million, he should vacate the position for others to take the job. Coach Laloko also doesn't think that Nigeria's quickly approaching Nations Cup qualifiers merit any level of panic. As a matter of fact, he thinks that any coach could do a good job with the list already released by the NFF. That's not the end of it, guys. Samson Siasia, former Super Eagles player and also a past coach for the Super Eagles, has volunteered to coach the Super Eagles if the situation seems beyond resolution. He, unlike Coach Laloko, is worried about the qualifiers to be played in September and thinks that this situation has run for far longer than it should. All we can think is, qualifiers in 2 weeks? Eek! Former President of Malawi, Joyce Banda, has finally opened up on the reason behind her quick acceptance of the election that saw her out of office just days after alleging electoral malpractices and calling for a fresh election. According to This Is Malawi, Mrs. Banda believed that had she not conceded, political violence would have escalated as supporters of her party had already started arming themselves in preparation for clashes with opposing parties. In her own words, "When I heard what was being planned, I made the decision to concede to help stop an escalation of violence because my supporters and others were arming themselves and preparing for a bloodbath. I didn't want that to happen on my watch. I had to stop it, although I knew that the vote was stolen." She said this in an exclusive interview with New African. Be that as it may, and irrespective of the fact that she served only 1 term, Mrs. Banda did leave behind the beginnings of progress, which her successor Peter Mutharika will no doubt build on. Among other things, she repealed some repressive laws, restored relations with the diplomatic community, and worked to empower women. The Malawian economy also grew from 1.8% to over 6%, and the foreign reserves also improved considerably. Now guys, we all want you to stay safe as our governments and aid organizations work together to combat the Ebola virus disease. To play your own part, remember to wash your hands often and wash all food thoroughly. Stay away from bushmeat and bats as they can be carriers of the disease. If you feel any unusual symptoms, tiredness, fever, diarrhea or nausea, make your way to a hospital and get it checked out immediately.